Hello and welcome back to Skye Spearfishing. In this video I carry out a comparison test between Octacle and Slippy, which were provided to me by Spearfishing UK. I continue using the polespear and finally get a decent fish on the polespear. Then we travel to the far north where we camp at this really amazing location, and on the way back I get my 70 carbon gun and I finally start shooting fish with it, just in time for Finland. Okay, day 4 of 4. This is our last full day on Shetland. And we're going out for a shore dive at a secret location, which I'm not going to mention where it is. If you can figure it out, don't share it because it's special. Josh? Rhinosburg. What? What's that?
It's at Rhinosburg.
Okay, right. It's not that secret. There you go. He's just told you his best mark. So we're having a shore dive today, and Josh has showed me that there's a really big pollock here. He's also told me that I'm only allowed to use a polespear, so he's given me a wee bit of handicap, but hopefully I'll get good with it. And the plan is get in the water, shoot a 10-pound pollock with a polespear, come back a champion. So we're going to the south of the island. Is this the south of the island we're going to?
Yeah.
North. This is the north of the island we're going to, right? I've completely lost my bearings.
No,
I'm just.
We're going south, and we're going to do some diving down there, and we're also going to have some lunch down there as well, and show Arian about, as the last time he was on Shetland, he never really seen too much of it. So we're going to go around Sunborough Head, the most southern point of the island, see some more puffins, and have a good cook up with some fish we shot yesterday or the day before.
This is Octacle. It's a new kind of wetsuit lube that's came out. The Spearfishing UK just started stocking it. It's made out of an algae, which they've managed to put into powder form. It's completely natural, and they've got a bit of aloe vera in there as well. So we're going to give this a go. This is just a wee sample tin. It's got the instructions there for how to mix it up, and we'll mix it up and see how it compares. I use Slippy all the time for my wetsuits, so I'm used to Slippy, so it'll be interesting to see how this stuff compares. Here in Shetland it is always windy, so I'll try not to lose too much of it. So that should make about a litre roughly. There we go. And it says give it a really good shake. When you're mixing up wetsuit lube, always put a small amount of water in the bottom first, and then mix it really hard. And if you put too much water in, you'll get lumps, and there's nothing worse than lumps of wetsuit lube. So that's it there. It looks fairly lump free. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pour in the rest of the liquid.
That's warm water.
Full disclosure, the tin did suggest mixing it with cold water, but I don't like putting cold wetsuit lube on. So
Too old for that.
Too old for that. So that's 1 litre of Octacle mixed up.
Have a shake. Again, just starting with a little bit of water. And then we'll pour the rest in.
Definitely feels like very similar consistency to Slippy. Tasteless. You can drink that.
You know when you touch the seaweed and you get like gloopy, that's it.
Yeah. Not sure if it was a taste test, but it seems to work.
It doesn't taste like seaweed.
I don't think they recommend tasting it, but
It said non-toxic.
yeah.
And then Slippy in the hand. They both feel very similar. They've been mixed up to approximately the same consistency too. We didn't have 2 1 litre bottles, hence why we've done a bigger bottle, but there's 3 of us.
That one doesn't have any taste.
Right, okay. It's not about how it tastes, it's about how it's on the wetsuit anyway.
Yeah.
Please excuse my minor offensive cassette. But it feels really good. It's very similar to Slippy. yeah, no, it's really nice. Really nice. Lube. Definitely be buying into this stuff, I do like it. Could be a replacement for the Slippy.
Unless you come out in a big red rash.
Unless I come out in a big red rash, which I've been kind of guaranteed I shouldn't be. Right, let's get married and try some out. Okay, so that's a comparison test between Octacle and Slippy. They both feel much the same, they both do the same job. The test will be if one of them comes in a red rash or not. I know I'm fine with Slippy. Can't imagine Octacle's going to have any negative effects for me. But yeah, they're both good lubes and I'd go with either one of them, to be honest. Yeah, so we're all suited and booted. We got a wee jump to get to spot X, and then we're going to get in the water and see how it goes. I've been doing an awful lot of boat diving recently as opposed to shore diving, and it breeds a certain amount of laziness in you when everything's on the boat and you can just jump off the side as opposed to a small walk. It's not even that far, but we're making tracks towards the spot X. But yeah, after the ease of just jumping off the side of our boat, even a small walk in gear when the sun's out, and we're baking. The plan is not to shoot too many big fish because we'll have to carry them back.
Catch and release today, eh lads? Yeah.
Catch and release spearfishing.
I always do, that's why I never take any boat.
Barry's the expert at catch and release.
Yep.
I want to apologise for the fogging on this footage. Unfortunately, this housing that I was using on the Hero 8 actually had a very slight crack in it, and I had anti-fog strips in this and I'd taken it out and dried it a number of times. It was bone dry, but there was a very slight crack in the housing which let in just enough moisture to cause it to endlessly fog. So unfortunately the footage is a wee bit foggy here. There was not much doing in the shallows, so we pushed out into some slightly deeper water and I came across a decent ballan wrasse. Josh had told me that he had a really good recipe for wrasse ceviche. With that in mind, I lined up on this wrasse and took my shot. Unfortunately, I've hit the fish slightly low and the injector rod had punched through so much that the fish was actually on the carbon on the polespear, which wasn't ideal. The fish fought so hard it actually managed to essentially break itself in two to come off, which was really not good. I took a number of dives trying to find this wrasse, however it disappeared. It's not ideal, I don't like winding fish, however it's important not just to edit in everything with just the perfect stone shots, because sometimes we do hit fish and they come off and it's part of spearfishing. So no wrasse ceviche for me. He actually kind of tore himself apart on the pole. I lost a big wrasse on the pole. We then pushed out into some slightly deeper water, and here you can see there is loads of bait fish kicking around, and in the distance comes this pollock and it's cruising in pretty confident, so I line up and keep as still as possible, and then right at the last second I take my shot. I am really impressed with how quick this polespear fires. This polespear instantly went straight through the back of the head. This fish was stoned instantly, take it up to the surface. It was so light out you couldn't even engage the slip tip and it just remained on the injector rod.
proper fish on the polespear.
So we're gonna panny up this fish. So get some flour, get some eggs. Bit of this hunky outdoor spices, station one. Really quite strong stuff this, a little goes a long way. As I found out the other day with the cod. I'll just cut it with a spoon, should I? We remembered a lot of stuff, but one thing we didn't remember was the nice filleting knives. So I am trying not to butcher this pollock. So Josh has saved the day with his filleting knife, which has a normal side as well as a serrated side. So just gonna slice the pollock up into fair sized goujons. And we're gonna have some spicy pollock goujons. Panko breadcrumbs, check, and a little bit more of this spice. So we go flour to the fish, egg, breadcrumbs. Say it 3 times, Josh.
Flour, egg, breadcrumbs. Now it's a taste test. That's amazing. Proper good.
Yeah. It's like chicken.
So this fish was shot up at Muckle Flogger. This is we've aged it in the fridge like I spoke about before, and it's a lot more flaky. It's not mushy or anything. Yeah. Definitely eats a lot better.
So I'm now changing this case over. This case has let me down well and truly. I think some of the seal's gone around the top and it's fogging up endlessly. Even with anti-fog strips in, I've taken it out 4 or 5 times, it wasn't working. Thankfully I brought a second one with me, so I'm going to go and give this a go and hopefully it'll keep it dry and not fog up for the last dive of the trip. That's us on the way up to the north of the island. We're going to go for a camp this evening. It's the last hurrah before I head back tomorrow. Unfortunately, the weeks went way too quickly. I have finally got a housing for my GoPro Hero 8 which is waterproof and isn't leaking or fogging up, fingers crossed. So hopefully I might just get some footage in the water of my own as opposed to just the stuff that Josh has filmed. But yeah, we're going to head up to the north of the island and get a camp and might get in the water. If we don't get in the water tonight, we'll definitely get in tomorrow morning.
So where we're driving right now is called Mavis Grind, and this is where I shot a few fish, shot my first ling. But on one side is the North Sea and the other side is the Atlantic, and just further up here you can actually throw a stone, well if you've got a good arm, from one side to the other. We can stop off and have a look if you like.
So that'll be the North Sea that side and the Atlantic will be on the west. Travelled to the far north and found a lovely spot to camp. We've got the roof tents rigged up, got the fire pit going to keep the midges at bay.
Look at that.
Cooked up a bit of roe deer and a sea bass that Josh had shot when he was down in Cornwall, and had a few drams and a few beers and just chilled out for the evening. It was a really nice way to kind of end the last full day in Shetland and just chat about how the week had been and all of the fish that we'd speared and the fish that had got away. And yeah, it was just a nice way to round off this trip. Had an amazing night's sleep and waking up to that view's not half bad either. The weather's got better than it was meant to be as well. It's really nice here. It was meant to be kind of howling a steady 20 miles an hour, but it's not too bad. I think we're going to go for one last dive on the way in at Mavis.
Mavis Grind?
Mavis Grind, that's the part with the North Sea and the Atlantic. We're going to dive in the North Sea because supposedly there's more fish in that section. That's us at Mavis Grind now. It's the last dive of the trip. Just going to suit up, get in the water. I've finally got a different housing from my Hero 8, so I really hope I'll actually get some underwater footage. Josh has seen haddock here in the past and he's even shot a ling. Haddock are very small apparently and quite flighty, but it'd be really cool to see those in the water. And a chance at a ling, always game for a new species. For this last dive I decided to use my 70cm carbon gun. This is a gun I'm going to be using in Finland, and as I've not long changed it from an inverted roller to an open muzzle and I've not had much success with it so far, I thought it'd be really important that I try and get my aim in and at least practice it a wee bit more. So this was my chance to try and get my confidence up with this gun. I've been told by Josh that the fish were probably going to be a wee bit smaller here, which worked for me because if I can shoot a small fish I can shoot a big fish, and I'm expecting the fish in Finland to be a little bit smaller than the fish we're hunting here in Shetland. So I end up taking a few dives down. This one's just shy of 18 metres. You can hear in the back that my sinuses are getting a wee bit squeaky here. I actually needed to take some nasal sprays to kind of clear myself up and a nasal rinse because 5 days diving and I was starting to get a wee bit squeaky. I line up on this fish here and put my shot in. By no means is it a great shot, however I was just happy to hit this fish with this gun. It meant a lot to my confidence and it was a nice way to round off my trip here. That's a good dive. Well, an absolute awesome week diving with Josh and Murray, and unfortunately all good things have to come to an end, but it's on to the next part of this adventure, which is off to Finland.
Groundhog Day. What are we doing? We're looking for fish. How are we doing that? Turning around in circles.
I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next one in Finland at the European Championships.